Alright, so thinking about starting YouTube for a while, didn't know what I wanted to do for content. So just out here picking at this motor, so I figured, nah, why not? Let's make it an automotive channel. So here we go. So this here is a AS41 Volkswagen air-cooled case. This came with a bunch of other parts. I got this isn't even half of it. This is just what's here. I got some at my parents' house in the bus where I'm storing it, and I got some at my workplace as well. But so I'm just getting familiar. I don't know really anything about these Volkswagen buses, but I did quite a bit of research on the engines. And this is how I learned, just tearing stuff apart, like Hondas and Chevs. This is how I learned, just building stuff out of multiple. And when I was a kid, I did the same thing with lawnmowers and lawn tractors. So this is the one half of the case here. Everything was stuck up on it. These sat in a guy's basement for a long time. The basement actually flooded. So I ended up fishing these out and a bunch of other parts. That's I think I got one complete motor. It's only single port. And a blown engine. This here one, this is also dual port, but it has a crack in the block there somewhere, I thought. But it's got the flywheel on it and the balancer, all that stuff. Full transmission, don't know if it's any good. A few other various parts. And yeah, so this one here didn't look like it had any cracks in it, so I figured I'd crack it open and see what it's like. So now obviously where it flooded, there is a little bit of corrosion. Can't really show you in this one because I only pressure washed this. I didn't really get to cleaning it up yet. But as you can see, there is a bit of corrosion there on the sump pump, the bottom of the oil sump. So what happens is with these, if water gets in them, obviously the oil will sit on top and the water will sit on the bottom. So the water sits on the bottom and corrodes the magnesium. So I'm cleaning this up the best I can. I was going to scrap this idea once I seen how much corrosion was actually here. But I looked on YouTube. No one really had any videos on this, so I figured it'd be a good video to make. So what I did, I went to Walmart, picked up a cheap Dremel tool, and then went over to Home Depot, picked up a cheap Dremel kit. Right now I have the wire wheel, and I'm just kind of slowly going around, just cleaning everything up. Just turned into a lot of dust. So I'm going to keep going with that and see, because this case, it's not too bad. It just really has a lot of this like light corrosion all around it. As you can see there, the bottom's pretty bad, and down there was like a ½ inch layer of gunk in here before I cleaned it. Cleaned it up with some brake cleaner and some degreaser, pressure washer, and it's starting to look okay. It's coming very clean, starting to. Still a long way to go. I haven't really touched this too much with a wire wheel yet, but you can see the corrosion's really bad there where it was sitting on the concrete floor when it flooded. But there's nothing through. I did go through with the torch on it already, and I didn't see any cracks. That's one way you can tell. You just take your blowtorch and run it, and if you see any black lines, that's the oil seeping out of the case. It means you have a crack there. So far anyway, I still have to test this side, but this is going to be somewhat good half of a case, so I'm going to save it, but you can see it's pitted pretty bad in places. Now this here I'm not building for reliability. This is basically just kind of throw a bunch of parts together. New crank bearings, new gaskets obviously, and I might do new pistons and canisters as well. Yeah, this is a dual relief motor with dual port, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna keep cleaning this up, and I will post back here in a few minutes. Alright, so that's actually working very good. So this here I've already done, like you kind of see this area all up along here and in here. I'm not sure if this is surface. I think it is. So the more I go, the more is coming off with the little wire wheel. But I'm not looking to remove any of this magnesium material. It's super soft, so it's kind of hard to get all this corrosion right out. But my main goal here is just to get it enough where this won't affect the motor and will not go through the oil. This will be going through multiple oil changes. And like I said, this is definitely not going to be a high mileage motor by any chance. This is just something I can get in, drive around town, see how everything works. I'll be building a high performance motor after this one. But you can see here, this one here, I already started doing this half here. I left this half for comparison. You can see how it's just stuff's just scraping off now over here. Much better. I shouldn't be poking around with this, but yeah. And then all the little tools there worked good for getting like right down into those grooves, just to get it enough. But yeah, like down in here and stuff. This was the worst of it, but I haven't really touched that yet with anything. But yeah, one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm not touching any of this here surface, anything in here where our bearings sit, or anything here, anything that butts against the case, this flat surface here all along. I'm gonna do that with some kind of solvent, or maybe go over it with some really light, like 2500 or 3000 grit sandpaper. Wet it and just get it enough where it'll stick, because that's your mating surface that holds everything together. You don't want that. But yeah, everything's going good. So the next video, this half of the case will be done, and possibly the other half, I'm not sure yet. And we're gonna talk about cleaning all this stuff here, the pistons, rods, everything, cleaning it up. Now I'm not sure what this was. Like, this already had the jugs off it when I got it, but so I'm not sure if that cracked during transportation in the back of the truck or what happened there, but probably doing new jugs and pistons. I'm not sure yet. Depends on the shape of the components I already have. But yeah, other than that, we're making very good progress here. So update number 2 done.